2 weeks ago, we explored whether you're in a buyer's or seller's market when it comes to real estate, what it really means, and if it even matters. I'll link to that video in the cards in case you missed it. It may help to put things into context for this week's video. This week, I'm taking a more focused approach. I'm going to be sharing tips for selling your house in a seller's market and tips for selling your house in a buyer's market. Your approach to selling your home can and should change depending on the current state of the market. So let's talk about what you can do. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back and spending your time with me. I'm Lindsay, a proud Anthem resident and your local realtor with the Wise Move AZ team at Realty One Group. On this channel, we have a lot of fun talking about all things Anthem and real estate every single Thursday, and we absolutely love having you along for the ride. As I discussed in our previous 2 videos, I don't know that there's a lot of value in the average consumer trying to time the market. It's really about making the most of the current market and playing to the strengths of your position in it. So my plan is to start with my best tips for selling your house in a buyer's market, because that's usually where we get more questions. But after that, I'm jumping straight into my best tips for selling your house in a seller's market. Although it may be less asked about, I feel like it's equally as important. Tips for selling in a buyer's market. As a quick reminder, a buyer's market is a market that tends to favor buyers. Prices may be decreasing, homes may be taking longer to sell, there may be more homes on the market, and so on. Generally, there are fewer buyers in the market for your home. Ouch. Tip number 1, price your home well. It's so important to price your home well right out of the chute. This is typically not the time or place to just start high, hope someone will make an offer, and you can just meet in the middle. Many buyers don't want to waste their time making an offer that isn't going to go anywhere. They also may not want to risk offending you, or they may just not want to work with sellers who appear to have unrealistic expectations. Either way, pricing your home too high can be a serious turnoff to potential buyers. Work with your agent to carefully review the comps and set a reasonable price. You may find articles online or other videos that encourage you to underprice your home when you hit the market to spark competition. This can be a successful strategy, but only in certain markets. It really depends on the demand in your area and the nature of your buyers. This can be a risky approach that requires some serious forethought and conversations with your agent. Tip number 2, make it sparkle. You want your home to stand out from the competition in all the right ways. The good news is this doesn't have to cost a fortune. Consider doing the following. Number 1, declutter. If the buyers can't see past your stuff, it's going to be tricky for them to visualize themselves there. Make your home as open and inviting as possible. Number 2, deep clean. Top to bottom, inside and out. Clean right before it's listed and then keep on top of it if you happen to be on the market for a while. Number 3, up your curb appeal. Buyers may pass by your home if it looks drab on the outside. In a couple of weeks, we'll be releasing a video solely on increasing your curb appeal. So hit the subscribe button and the bell icon below if you'd like to be notified when that's released. Number 4, make obvious repairs. You really don't want buyers to come in and focus on deferred maintenance. Hire a handyman for a couple of hours and take care of the obvious things. We address these points and so much more in our video on getting your home ready to list in 30 days or less. I will link to that in the cards for this video in case you want to check it out. Tip number 3, consider professional staging. According to the National Association of Realtors, 1/4 of buyers' agents said that staging a home increased the dollar value offered between 1 and 5% compared to other similar homes on the market that are not staged. Now, do I think that all homes need to be staged before they hit the market? No, but I definitely think it's something worth considering if you're in a really strong buyer's market. You could consider hiring an agent that offers staging services. Most importantly though, you need to know your competition. Look at similar homes currently on the market. Do they look staged? How does your home and interior decor stack up? Be honest with yourself. And if you can't be honest with yourself, bring in a friend that can be. Tip number 4, show it off. Getting your home ready to sell and listing it is a lot of work. You've got my full sympathy. Now that you've put in all this work, it's time to show it off. In a buyer's market, you want to make your home as easy to show as possible. Homes that have limited showing times or other restrictions may get crossed off the list right away. Remember, in a buyer's market, there are usually lots of options. In addition to making it easy to show, you want that showing experience to be a pleasant one. When possible, turn on the lights, open the blinds, turn on water features, and so on. You may also want to consider playing light music and having a small snack or water. The goal is to have potential buyers falling in love and spending time in your home. Tip number 5, get creative with your counter offers. It's possible that you'll receive a low ball offer in a buyer's market. Don't get disheartened. You certainly don't have to respond, but before you toss it away, I encourage you to consider your options. With any offer, I recommend that you have your agent draw up a net sheet. This way, you'll have an idea of what you'll walk away with. While your counter offer may address purchase price, it could also include ways to sweeten the pot for buyers in ways that don't directly impact your bottom line. If you're going to counter an offer, I encourage you to learn as much about the buyers as you can. Would a particular closing date work better for them? Are there items of personal property that they're interested in that you'd be willing to include at a higher price? Could you offer a carpet allowance? You want to try and find a win-win, knowing that you'll probably have to give a little to keep the buyer from moving on to the next house. Selling in a seller's market. All right, that was the hard part. But what if you're lucky enough to be selling your home in a seller's market? Life's good, right? You can just stick a sign in the front yard and those buyers will be climbing over each other to buy your house, right? Not quite. You may have the leg up, but there are definitely still some things to consider. As a quick reminder, a seller's market is a market that tends to favor sellers. Prices may be increasing, homes may be selling quicker, there may be fewer homes on the market, and you may be seeing more multiple offer situations. Tip number 1, create a buzz. If possible, you want your home to hit the market with a bang and go under contract quickly. The less time you have to put up with showings and negotiations, the better, right? Usually, we recommend listing on a Thursday night or a Friday morning so that you're at the top of the feed when buyers are planning their tours for the weekend. Your agent may even recommend hosting an open house if that makes sense in your market. You may want to consider getting out of town or staying with friends for that first weekend so that you don't have to put up with all that traffic and so that you can accommodate as many showings as possible. Often the best offers come early in the process, so make it easy to show in those early days and let the offers flow. Tip number 2, price it right. Just because it's a seller's market doesn't mean that buyers will pay just any amount for your home. Buyers are smart and they'll see right through your greed if you price your home way too high to start. A well-priced home can spark competition amongst buyers, generate interest, and lead to multiple offers. Work with your agent to price your home intentionally and appropriately right from the start. Tip number 3, review offers carefully. Being a seller in a seller's market is exciting. Buyers want to buy your home, and in some cases, they're competing for it. It's quite possible that you'll find yourself in a multiple offer situation. Congratulations! You might be tempted to just sign off on the one with the highest price and pop the champagne. But hold on, I hate to be a buzzkill, but popping the champagne will feel so much better once you've carefully and thoughtfully reviewed the offers against what you really want. Have your agent draft up a net sheet for each offer so that you can see what you'll walk away with from each. After that, I want you to think about the other aspects of the contract that don't directly impact the bottom line. Does the closing date work for you? Are they asking for items of personal property that you don't want to part with? Alternatively, would it be helpful if they gave you the option to leave some items of personal property behind? Would it help if you could rent the property back from the buyer after closing for a couple of months? Don't be afraid to ask the buyers if they'd be willing to accommodate these requests. Additionally, you want to make sure that the buyer is capable of closing the deal. Are they paying cash? If so, did they include proof of funds? If they're getting a loan, consider having your agent talk to their lender about their situation and getting confirmation that they can successfully move forward. Is their offer contingent on the sale of their current home? We did a whole video on whether or not sellers should accept contingent offers. If you'd like to check that out, I will link to it in the cards for this video. Tip number 4, be careful about calling for highest and best. Sometimes in a multiple offer situation, you hear about sellers putting out a call for highest and best. That means that if you've already submitted an offer, you're encouraged to submit another offer, your best offer. Personally, I don't like this approach. It can really be a turnoff to potential buyers. Many sophisticated buyers see this as a way to get them to compete against themselves, and they're not willing to participate. If you find yourself in a multiple offer situation and you want to counter, I strongly encourage you to use the multiple counter offer form. This is designed specifically for this situation, and it allows you to tailor your counter to each offer. It's a little bit more work, but personally, I feel that it's worth the effort. You don't have to counter every offer, and it really keeps everything on the up and up. Tip number 5, act quickly. You might be thinking, wait a second, as a seller in a seller's market, I thought I was in the position of power. Why do I need to rush? The problem is, for buyers in a seller's market, it can be a bit frantic for them. They may need to put out several offers at the same time just to snag a house, depending on how competitive it is. If you drag your feet responding, those buyers may have already gone under contract with different sellers. I don't want you to rush, but I do want you to approach all negotiations with a sense of urgency and importance. So there you have it. What do you think? Are you ready to sell your home with confidence regardless of the current state of the market? If you found this video helpful, let me know by hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and leaving me a comment. In the interest of making sure that you're totally prepared to sell your house, you may want to click and watch this video up top where we run through our best tips for listing your home in 30 days or less. Or you may want to watch this video on the bottom where we fully explain the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market, and more importantly, what it means for you. Enjoy those, and I'll see you next Thursday.